Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle. And today we're going to talk about what dating is like in your 30s. Is it harder or is it easier than when you're in your 20s or when you're a teenager? And that's really going to depend on the man, right? Some men, let's face it, they peak in high school. Like they reach their sexual peak in high school, and then it just goes all downhill after that. I've noticed some of those guys, like, growing up, they peaked really early and they just kind of like plummeted after high school. And same thing with like university. They peak in their like university years, like they look really good, everything's put together, they got like, they look good, their social life is good. And then like they hit their 30s and then everything goes downhill. Their looks fade, their their whole body like gets completely out of shape, and their social life disappears. And so yes, it really depends on the man of how much dating success you have in your 20s, how much dating success you have in your 30s and upward. Because here's the thing, myself personally, and a lot of guys that I know seem to think, like, experience that dating is easier in your 30s. It simply is. Usually a man has, built up, like he's living on his own. He has a job. He feels like financially secure, and he should still be in good shape. Like your 30s, you should be still look good and you should still be in shape. But I notice a lot of guys, as soon as like they put their career like on the priority list, like you notice right away, like when people excel in their careers, they're climbing the corporate ladder, their looks, their overall health, and their body turns to shit. It goes lower. Like it gets worse and worse each year as their income increases. Their whole like sexual appeal drops because like all their focus is on like climbing the corporate ladder, like working really hard, thinking about it like night and day. And their health, their fitness gets put on the back burner, and they end up like, decaying and looking really bad. And let's face it, like looks are probably the most important aspect of your whole your dating success, along with, of course, exposure, which is probably even more important than that. But that's another topic. The topic is dating easier or harder in your 30s? Really what that boils down to is, what have you done in your 30s, like to lead you to this point? Have you kept yourself in shape? Have you kept your looks? You still prioritize looking good. And this is a big one. Have you gotten over your fear of rejection by the time you're 30, like in your 30s? Have you gotten over the fear of, if people say no to me, like it'll make me feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad, so I won't, take my shots. Usually, hopefully, and you can overcome this in your 30s as well, you have to get over that fear of rejection, that fear of people saying no to you. And the minute you clear yourself of feeling guilty or shameful about people saying no to you, suddenly your dating options completely like revolutionize. Because let's face it, the majority of normies out there, they rely on their friends of friends, school, work, social circle, to introduce themselves, like for them to, expose them to women, right? Like they don't approach women that they don't know, but you can. And if you're able to do that and approach women that you don't know in your 30s, you are going to have so much fun. Your dating life is going to be awesome, provided that you still look good, you're still in shape, and you can approach women. You've got the balls to approach women that you don't know. You're going to have an amazing time in your 30s, provided you can do that. But if you're not one of those guys, if you've let your look slide, if you've let your body slide, your health slide, your fitness slide, and you're not able to talk to women, like you see an attractive woman in the grocery aisle, you see an attractive woman at the gym, you see an attractive woman anywhere, and you're not able to talk to her, like start a conversation with her, yes, your 30s are going to suck. You're going to be relegated to duking it out like online, like on Tinder, where, let's face it, you'll probably be, because you don't look very good, because you let your look slide and your whole like appearance slide, you're going to be relegated to single moms, with tons of kids, like tons of baggage, that they're around your age, and they're desperate for a guy to, take care of them financially, right? So yes, you will be relegated to those type of women if you are one of those guys that kind of let himself go, put his career first, and let his looks slide. And yes, you'll be kind of stuck with the bottom feeders that, the attractive guys don't want, which is like, yeah, single moms with, they're looking for a provider, someone to take care of them financially and marry them, right? So yes, it really depends on the man, on how good your 30s are going to be and how good your 20s have been, how good your teens have been. And you can make tons of gains in your 30s. Like, I know myself and many other guys where their best times for women was in their 30s. But again, these were guys that took care of their health, took care of their appearance, and they were able to talk to women. They had the balls to approach women that they don't know, they find attractive. And yes, you can do that. If you can do that and talk to women that you don't know, man, it doesn't matter what age you are. You're going to have the time of your life, because let's face it, like, there's endless opportunities out there because there's women everywhere. And if you can get the balls to approach women that you don't know, you're going to have fun in your like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I don't know. I haven't been there yet, but I've seen, yeah, it probably has more to do with like your finances when you're in your 50s and even in your 40s as well. Like, as you get older, your finances become more of a selling point as opposed to your looks and fitness. But anyways, we're getting off topic. We're talking about the 30s here. And the 30s should be great for you, provided that you've actually invested time in your appearance, and invested time in, you can approach women. You've got the balls to approach women that you don't know. And a lot of the times that takes guys a long time to get to, like even in their like teenage years and like 20s, they haven't really like built up the balls yet and to approach women that they don't know. And you can definitely make up time in your 30s if you're worried about like, oh man, I got to my 30s and I've got no experience. No, you can make the 30s the time of your life, provided you have like a couple things in place, which is, you've taken care of your looks and you actively try to get over your approach anxiety, because that approach anxiety is going to hold you back from endless opportunities with women. If you've invested in yourself, invested in your appearance, yes, the 30s will be great. I mean, the reason why guys say like 30s are terrible, like, it's because they're normies. They're normies that don't approach women that they don't know. They haven't taken care of their looks. Your average 30-year-old man looks pretty shit, let's be honest. Just like the average like woman does as well. The average person, as they get older, looks progressively worse, right? Whereas like a guy that's really like into health and fitness, he'll tend to look better, right? He's getting more muscular, leaner every year. And yes, this is why like, yeah, it really depends on what you've invested in. Have you invested in like your body and your looks? Then yes, you'll have a good time in your 30s. And if you've let yourself slide like the normies do, right? Like they're like, man, like those old days of like college and like getting women, those are over. I'm career oriented now. Yeah, those are the guys are going to have a rough time because their bodies decay. They get worse and worse each year. Their looks fade. They lose more hair. And so, yeah, they tend to have a rougher time. And they don't approach women, right? They can't. At this point, they're like, oh, like no one does this. Let's be honest. Very few people will ever cold approach women that they don't know. And so, yes, they'll be like, man, I can't even meet women. Okay, let me use an example. I had an 18-year-old girlfriend, and I went back to my hometown, and I talked to one of my buddies growing up, like high school friends. Like I was back in my hometown, and we called up and we reminisced about like old times and what we're up to. And I said like, yeah, I got my girlfriend. She's 18 years old, and he was like, what? Like, how did you meet an 18-year-old? And I'm like, on the bus, like on the transit, like taking the bus on the way home from work. That's how I met her. He's like, what? Like, how did you even do that? To most people, this is impossible. You can't do this, right? You don't approach people that you don't know. You have to meet them from school. You have to meet them from work. That's the only way you meet women. Like, you have to know them from church, or you have to know them from friends of friends. That is how normies think. And that is why their limit, like once you reach your 30s, it's over. Like, you're done. And that is because they don't have the opportunity. They haven't had the balls to approach people that they don't know. And guess what? If you want to make the 30s like the time of your life, you better get over that, and you better approach people that you don't know. You better approach women that you find attractive that you don't know. Because then the world opens up to you, right? You don't need to rely on your friends. You don't need to rely on your social circle. You don't need to rely on your school or your work to provide you with women. No, you see women every day, and you have an opportunity to make things happen with them, right? Doesn't matter if it's online or just walking down to the grocery store or to the gym. So that's the difference between a guy that struggles in his 30s and a guy that, excels in his 30s. All right, guys, if you need any help, turning your love life around, turning your physique around, whatever it is, to make 30s a fantastic time and the prime of your life, to make dating in your 30s awesome, better than it ever has in your entire life, then yes, I've got coaching links down below, and I can help you do that. And I will help you do that. All right, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.